Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench, and it's Solar Sunday.
Please subscribe.
Today, we're going to be working on CAT. I call my office CAT, as in Cargo Action Trailer, because you can pretty much do anything you want with these suckers. And I've turned mine into an office. You can turn it into a living space. I've seen people turn this into a tiny home. Mine's kind of halfway in between. I do have a bed in the back, desk, refrigerator, sink, all that kind of stuff, but it's used for my office. But what we're working on, the neighbor was kind enough to pick me up some 10-foot tubifers because I don't drive, and somehow he got them in the back of his Dodge Avenger. Don't ask me how, but I don't question the gift horse, I suppose. I asked him to grab me some, and he did. And what we're doing is we're going to be mounting solar panels on top of CAT. Now right now that 2x4 is just laying up there, and I did that to make sure that the distance between the front roof rack and the back roof rack was the good distance so that I can mount those up. Now this is a pretty easy, simple, basic way to do it. You're not going to need any special tools. Basically what I have so far, I have some lag bolts. They're 1.5 inches long. And they're going to go through that hole you see light coming through just above that wood. I'm going to pick the wood up, measure it, and I'm going to put the lag bolts through there, one on each end, and that's going to hold that 2x4 right to the side of my rack. Then I've got some of these L brackets. These are the same brackets that I used when I put up all the fence that you see in the background. I attached this to the post and then also to the fence, and that's what holds it in place. And if you don't think they're strong enough, we just had Hurricane Milton come through. We had sustained 100-mile-an-hour winds, direct hit, and I actually thought that the fence was going to come down in spots. Many people lost their fence. Nothing happened to mine. So these are plenty strong, and you'll be able to drive down the road with your cargo action trailer, your van, whatever the case may be. And these are $1 at the home stores. They're cheap. And I'm going to attach these to the solar panels, and then the solar panels, the top, because it's an aluminum frame, I'll drill through, and I bought some little bolts and nuts, and the bottom's going to get screwed right to those 2x4s. So no special tools. You need a drill, and I prefer to put my lag bolts in with my impact driver, but you could use a ratchet, no problem. And I'm just going to do this real quick, and you'll be able to see how easy it is. I just want to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by Wattcycle batteries. They are makers of lithium iron phosphate batteries, or LiFePO4 batteries. There is a review of this battery on my channel, which I'll link at the end of this video. This happens to be a battery that they sent me. This is a 100 amp hour 12-volt battery, which consists of about 1,280 watt hours. It is IP65 rated, waterproof. It's very easy to use. I use these in my setup, and in fact today's video, while I'm putting the solar panels on the roof, are going to be hooked into this Wattcycle battery, which permanently will be running my office. So I'd just like to say thank you to Wattcycle battery for making a battery so easy, so inexpensive. It's really the battery that everyone can reach out and get your hands on. It's so versatile. You can use it with up to 3 other batteries for a total of 4, whether you run it in series or parallel. They use A-rated cells inside this battery. It has a low temperature cutoff sensor. It can put out 100 amps at a time, sustained. It's real easy to charge. I have a video coming up soon where I'll be showing you how to charge this battery with a battery charger that they provided as well. So if you're in the market for a battery, this is not me being paid to say something. I've been using this battery for the last couple of weeks myself to power things. Now that I'm setting up the solar panels permanently, it's going to be set up permanently on Wattcycle batteries. And if it's not a very sunny day and I need to use a charger, I'll be using my Wattcycle battery charger. So again, the links will be in the description. I don't make any money off of this, but if you're looking for this battery or anything like it that Wattcycle sells, check out the links in the description. Thanks so much to Wattcycle battery for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Now you can see how easy it is to drive a couple of lags. You might want to put a pilot hole in there just so everything's not wobbly and you don't need 8 hands to hold it up. You could use a clamp to clamp the board to the rail to hold it steady if you want. Do whatever you need to do if you have a clamp. Otherwise, drill yourself a pilot hole, start your lag, throw it in. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to get out the solar panels. Now, for those of you that have never seen solar panels or are wondering why I might want to put them on top of the roof of my office, there's a couple of reasons behind that. One, we're in Florida, and on most days when it's not fall and a hurricane didn't just come by, it is beating down sun. And the top of Cat is covered in a cool white roof coating, and it is insulated as well, but it still gets burning hot in there during the day. Imagine the sun directly on top of that, just turning it into a metal oven. So the solar panels will be up there on the roof, and they'll be stopping the sun from hitting the roof. I'll also be able to harness the sun to turn it into my electricity, so it does double duty. And for those of you that have never seen a solar panel before, they all are a little bit different. Some are flexible, some are on metal frames. You can see the dark outline that goes completely around the frame, the solar panel in this particular case. And it's just an aluminum frame. Behind it is nothing. And that's where I'll be drilling to put my holes. If you've seen my other videos, you know that on that one over there, I put wheels on the bottom of it. I used some old lawnmower wheels. I drilled some holes in the side, put a bolt in, put the lawnmower wheel on, and that makes that one easier for me to drag around the yard. Now they only weigh about 30 pounds, but when you're trying to move it from one side of the yard to the other for temporary setups, like I was in the beginning when I only had one, they can get a little out of breath, even for somebody that can lift plenty of weight. So I put some wheels on that one over there. Now these are 65 inches by 39.5 inches wide. And the space that I have up there, I'm sorry, they're 66 inches, and the space that I have up there is 65 inches. Now that's important. What I'm going to do is hock this thing up to the roof, hock to it, get it up there so that I can put the bracket next to it and mark it, and I'll show you that. Another thing to consider when you're mounting them more permanently, you have cables that come out of one end of the solar panel and not the other. So in this case, when I put them on the roof and I strap them down permanently or semi-permanently, I want to make sure that the cables on each one are at the same side of the trailer. That way when I'm doing my wiring, I can bring the wiring together, easily access it, bring it down, do what I want to do to get it inside. So be aware that you don't put one facing one way and the other facing the other way, because then you're going to have issues and you're going to have to undo them just to put them back together. Now make sure when you're putting them up there, if you need a second pair of hands, that you get some help. Can be kind of awkward. In my case, I have a roof vent right here, and I want to still be able to open it and use the vent fan. So what I have with this particular setup is about a 6-inch gap between the top of the fan shroud or the cover and the bottom of the solar panel. And when I put those L brackets on, it's going to raise it another 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So I'm going to have plenty of room to be able to open that vent up and allow the exchange of air and still have my solar panels covering the space that I need, covering the roof. And I'm going to put 2 up here side by side. That's going to cover about 3/4 of the roof. Now because I have plenty of room up here to put 3 solar panels, and I'm only going to be putting 2 for now, what I want to do is be able to use this. If you look at that, one side is taller than the other side. It's not a perfect square. So what I want to do is mount the short side down on top of the 2x4, drill right through it, and then I want to mount it to the panel so that it lifts it up just a little bit, so it gives me that little bit of extra height. So I want to get the panels in the right position with overhang equal on both sides, so I can then mark the panel, drill the holes, and then put the bolts and the nuts on. Now once I got up here with a drill and I drilled through, I realized that it was thicker here in the frame than I expected it to be. So I switched and I'm using 1-inch self-tappers. They self-drill themselves into the metal and they're sheet metal screws, so they hold really well. So I've got both feet on both sides. That one is secured to the 2x4, and I'm about to use what I like, which is drywall screws, because they hold into the wood very well with big teeth. And I'm gonna go ahead and put those in now. And that's what it looks like for me. Sheet metal screws, self-drilling up here, drywall screws in the wood, nice and deep, setting on the ledge, lifting it up another 3/4 of an inch here, and because it's up at the top over here, it gives me over 1.5 inches of more space over top. That's nice and secure. You might ask yourself why I would use indoor drywall screws. They don't rust out as quick as you think, and every year I will pull out the screws, check them, and put a few new screws in. Only takes a few minutes, only costs a few cents. However, I started off with 1-inch drywall screws with great big teeth on them. If they begin to loosen for any reason, I can always go deeper. I can go to 1.5 inches, 2-inch, 3-inch, and I can replace them as necessary cheap, and I know that they're gonna hold better than anything else. So now all I have to do is go to the other side and do the same thing, put 2 more feet on the other side to hold this thing down, and we're good to go. That's all there is to it. Well, I got both of them up. There's still room in the front if I want to put on a third, which I may end up doing. That is 700 watts of solar panel, each one being, I think they're 400 watts, but they put out about 350 watts. Hey, we got a plane. So don't feel bad if you find some used panels on Marketplace. I spent about 40 bucks on these panels each, and they work very, very well. And you can see that I've mounted them the same way. And now you know how to put solar panels on top of your van or your cargo trailer if you have roof racks to work with. No special tools needed, few holes, few screws, and you're good to go. So I hope this video helped. I hope you learned that you can do things fairly easily. If you have any kind of construction experience whatsoever, you don't have to worry. If you're putting your toes into something new, your construction experience will come in handy. Things are easier to mount than you think, and you too can go off grid or go solar using battery power or power stations, whatever you choose. So thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Hit the like button. It's somewhere between my chin and my balls. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.